Okay, continuing on with Remembrance of the Cousin. So I was talking about the funeral in the last video. So I don't remember crying at all. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I was trying to because it was appropriate. But yeah, I didn't want anyone to see me cry at the funeral. So I definitely didn't do that there. But then later, like I think maybe I was like thinking it's appropriate to cry. Like I almost had to talk myself into it. Like I felt like it was the normal thing to do, but maybe I was trying to be strong, not to be too emotional. Just not wanting to be sad. But like I talked about previously, because we weren't talking to each other when he died, so we were angry at each other. So that's probably part of the reason why I didn't cry at all. I did recently, um, about a month and a half ago, because I had been making like I think it was yeah, it was before I even made all these notes. I was just thinking about my cousin and the things I wanted to say. So I was just trying to remember like because I was planning on making notes. So I was trying to remember the things I was going to be wanting to write down. So I just kept remembering things and things probably I hadn't thought of in a long time just because from repressing them, not wanting to feel bad about things and sad about things. So things were just popping in my head, and I was just going back and remembering what it was like being a 12, almost 13-year-old kid, and what it was like when finding out when he died, and just also just so the realization of him dying, and then also just remembering uh, other things, memories of my cousin, just feeling really sad about everything and uh, feeling bad about what I said to him and how I could have been nicer. So I felt like I was mean to him. And feeling bad that he had to die. Had to is a funny way of putting it. Not funny, but just feeling bad that he died at all. So it was, I guess, about a 30-year delay in reaction to grieving. It felt like the appropriate reaction that I should have had 30 years ago. So it took that long. Because I was just like, I was angry at the time when he died, and then I was guilty about being angry, I suppose. So then I was repressed. I was just repressing that for all these years, I suppose. Sometimes, like, you have this, you get this emotion where you're like, or you want to cry. You feel like you want to do it, and then when you do get to the point where you cry, it's like this release, and you feel better after you did cry because it's like a release, pent up emotion. At least that's how I felt about it. After the funeral for my cousin, I remember going to his family's home, and his mother, I'm pretty sure it was his mother, saw that me and I think a couple other kids were just sitting in the living room, uh, looking sad, probably, maybe being a little in shock. So just sitting in the living room, not doing anything. And so my mother, or not my mother, his mother, my cousin's mother, my aunt. So my aunt saw that we were sad, and she didn't want us to be sad. Maybe because she felt like seeing other people sad would make her sad. She didn't want to be sad, but it was right after the funeral. So she didn't want my cousin's mother didn't want to see us being sad. She said she wanted us to play the Nintendo. She said, "Don't just sit there. Uh, Go ahead and play the Nintendo." She wanted she wanted us to not be sad. I guess just her way of dealing with the death of her son. There's that thing about like uh, when someone dies, someone else says, "This is what this person would have wanted," like to continue on, to not just stop and do nothing, but to continue on. Maybe that's part of what she was thinking, that my cousin would have wanted us to enjoy life, to play Nintendo. I remember feeling weird about it because I was like, we just came from a funeral, to play Nintendo after a funeral. It just seemed weird. But she said okay. When she said it, I was like, well, okay. She gave permission to play Nintendo. I suppose it was a nice distraction rather than just sitting in the living room staring and just feeling miserable to have the distraction of playing Nintendo. But it felt a little weird doing that, playing the Nintendo, especially considering what the game was, what it was called. The game was called Skate or Die. So my cousin, before he died, he had gotten this game called Skate or Die. So I thought that was a little weird. But my aunt gave us permission to play the Nintendo. She didn't want us to be sad, apparently. She didn't want to see us being sad because maybe it made her feel worse. Maybe she just wanted to be numb about it for a while. So yeah, it probably just made her feel worse seeing us doing nothing. There was this there was this other time, kind of similar, where we were at this family get together later. I'm not sure how much later it was, maybe a month later. There was this family get together, so it was just for this side of the family, my mother's side of the family. We were at my grandma's. Uh, I remember hearing the idea of this get together, like the reason for it. Usually it's for a holiday or birthdays, but the idea for this get together was because we didn't want the last time for us to be together to have been at the funeral. So we wanted to move on past the funeral. So that's what this get together was for at my grandma's, to move on. But I didn't want to I didn't want to have fun. I was still dealing with what I was going through. But we were the my relatives at this family get together. Uh, they uh, they went a little ways away from my grandma's house, and so there was this field where there was this volleyball net, and they were playing volleyball. And I was like farther away, and like someone was like telling me, come on over by. Everybody's playing volleyball. Come on. I was like, I don't really want to. They talked me into going over there, so I just sat on the side while they were playing the volleyball. But then my aunt, the mother of my cousin that had died, she didn't like seeing me just sitting over there looking all sad when everybody else was playing volleyball. Like, I didn't even like volleyball really. That was one part of it, but I didn't want to play volleyball. I just wanted to do nothing. So my aunt, she saw me there looking all sad, and she was telling me to come on, get over here and play volleyball with us. And I just didn't want to do it. So I remember this awkward moment where she grabbed my arm. She was trying to drag me to the volleyball net where the other relatives were. So it was a very awkward moment where she was like trying to force me into this situation of fun where I did not want to have fun at that time. So I'm sure it from like thinking about the social awkwardness of it. I'm imagining like the other relatives were like probably like thinking it looked really strange, and maybe they had some strange emotions, like strange emotions. Maybe they were just like remembering like or thinking about my cousin that died. It just felt like a very awkward experience. So I got away from her because she was pulling on my arm. I didn't want to play volleyball, so I ran away. I probably went over by the car or just sat over by my grandma's house. So it was very awkward.